another video from T.I.M.E, the test prep experts. Today we have for you error identification questions. This is a regular feature of all bank exams, but what we have for you specifically today is the question type where there may be multiple errors. This is a feature of the BankPO mains exams. Okay. Multiple errors means there is a possibility of there being more than one error in every question. Not necessarily, some questions may have no errors, or in some questions there may be only one error, or there is a possibility of there being multiple errors. You need to pick the right option. Okay, before we start the discussion of this question type, we have a reminder for you. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel T.I.M.E for Bank Exams to get more such useful videos in various subject areas, okay, related to preparation for bank exams, SSC, railways, other government exams, insurance, etc. Do not forget to press the bell icon to get timely updates. Okay. So now when we look at the sentence correction questions, as you know, the concept that is being tested is grammar, broadly speaking, right? Now in grammar, of course, the possibilities are endless. They may test any area of grammar. However, usually the areas that are tested are the most basic ones, okay, like subject verb agreement, or the correct use of tense, or the use of correct prepositions, adverbs, etc., the use of the correct comparative form of adjectives. Yeah, these are some common errors that you can find in these questions. Okay, so let us start discussing some questions. Here the instructions are: in each of the questions below, a sentence is split into 4 parts. Read the sentence and identify whether there is or are any grammatical error or errors in it. The errors, if any, will be in 1, 2 or more parts of the sentence. Select as your answer the appropriate choice indicating the part or parts with the error or errors, and if there is no error, you have to mark 5, that is no error. You can ignore errors of punctuation. Usually in bank exams they do mention that you may ignore errors of punctuation. So you only need to look out for grammatical errors. Grammatical errors at times may be semantic errors also. Okay, what is this semantic error? Semantics refers to the logic of sentences, and syntax refers to the structure of sentences. So most of the errors that we normally call grammatical errors are to do with the syntax or form of the sentence. However, sometimes we may also have semantic errors. The form of the sentence may be okay, but logically it doesn't make sense. Okay. So let us look at the first question. The film P.M. Narendra Modi received negative reviews from critics, termed it a hagiography, and panned Vivek Oberoi's performance. Okay, now what is this sentence about? It is about the film on P.M. Narendra Modi and hagiography. Don't worry if you do not know these words. At least this is a sentence correction question. So here you don't need to worry about words that you don't know. They termed it something, right? That is all you need to understand. But hagiography is the biography of a saint. Okay, saints, you know, people who are considered divine beings or holy creatures. So what it means here is that the critics said this film glorifies P.M. Narendra Modi as a saint. Okay, now let us look at this sentence structure and try to identify any possible error in it. The film P.M. Narendra Modi, nothing wrong there, received negative reviews from critics. No mistake there. termed it a hagiography. Who termed it a hagiography? Critics. So can we just say received negative reviews from critics termed it a hagiography? No. There is no connection between this part. I will not use any heavy grammatical terms here. Clause, phrase, we don't need any of this. Just look at the logic. If the meaning is that the critics termed it a hagiography, then you need to add something there to connect the two parts, right? The film PM Narendra Modi received negative reviews from critics. What is missing? What is missing here is a pronoun, relative pronoun that connects the two parts of the sentence. Who termed it a hagiography? And panned Vivek Oberoi's performance. Panned means severely criticized, harshly criticized. Okay, so the mistake is in part C, which is option 2 here. Okay, fine. Hope you understood this. Now, let us look at the next sentence. John Maxwell, in his book 360-Degree Leader, explains anyone with average leadership skills can become a 360-degree leader if one is willing to work on himself. Have you spotted the mistakes? We'll read it again. John Maxwell, in his book 360-Degree Leader, errors of punctuation we don't need to worry about. We could have some commas there, but we don't need to worry about that. Okay, okay, so no mistakes here. Explains anyone with average leadership skills. Explains what is missing there. Explains that, right? Explains that anyone with average leadership skills. That pronoun there is missing. That is missing. Okay. Now, anything else? Can become a 360-degree leader. Nothing wrong there. If one is willing to work on himself. There is a problem with the agreement of pronouns. If one is willing to work on oneself, if you use one as a pronoun, then it has to be followed consistently. Okay, so it cannot be himself, it has to be oneself. Okay, now here anyone with average leadership skills can become a 360-degree leader if they are willing to work on themselves, or he is willing to work on himself, or she is willing to work on herself. All these are acceptable. Now you may wonder why they, because these days the use of they as a gender neutral pronoun, right, as a singular gender neutral pronoun is also acceptable. Okay, so which are the parts with errors now? We have errors in part B and part D, hence this is our answer. Okay. Let's look at the next question. The book, the Mastery Manual, comprise of 36 life-changing modules, each of which will help you take your business and your life to the next level. Have you spotted the mistakes? The book, the Mastery Manual. What is the subject? The book, the Mastery Manual. This is the subject. Is it singular or plural? Singular. So, look at the subject verb agreement. This is our verb, right? Since the subject is singular, what should we have here? Comprises. You know that, right? If it is plural, the books, then it could be comprise. Okay. Here we need comprises. So there is an error here. Okay, this is part A. Okay, B starts from here. There's a little alignment issue on my slide, but this is part A and B starts from that bar there. Okay, till here is A. Okay. So now let us read on. Comprises, we have changed that, of 36 life changing. This is a very, very common mistake that we make. Comprises of. It is not comprises of. Comprises 36 life changing modules. Consists of is fine. Comprise of is not fine. Compose of, composed of, consisted of, but comprised of is wrong. Comprise, okay. Comprises 36 life changing modules. That is the correction. Now let us see, each of which will help you take your business and your life to the next level. No more errors. So the errors are in A and B, which is option 1. Okay. Let's look at some more examples. Nandan Nilekani, in their book Imagining India, traces the central ideas that shaped India's past and present and asks of the influences of the future. Okay. So, Nandan Nilekani, the gender of the person is male, right? Now, since the gender is obvious, and it is a person who identifies with the male gender, we use the pronoun in his book. Okay. As I told you, these days if a person wants to be gender neutral, then you can use the gender neutral pronoun they. However, since this person identifies as a male and we are expected to have basic knowledge, so it is in his book Imagining India, traces the central ideas that shaped India's past and present and asks of the influences of the future, means asks about or wonders about what will be the influences of the future. That is fine. So the error is in A. Okay, so option 1. Next question. The goal of impact are to close the gender gap. Please spot all the errors while I read. And enable million of women and girls in STEM fields to embrace technology in 2030 by taking meaningful action in all the 4 key areas. Okay. So, the goal of impact are to close. What is the error here? The goal is the subject, so we need the goal is. Again, subject verb, agreement, error. The goal of impact is to close the gender gap and enable million of women and girls. Is that the right usage? 100 of, 1000 of, do we say that? No, it is always hundreds of, thousands of, millions of, not million of. Got it? Millions of women and girls in STEM fields to embrace technology in 2030. Now, again, this is what I said. Syntactically, there is no error here. If it enables millions of women and girls, STEM fields, do you know, by the way, it is science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Okay, STEM fields is a popular term used especially abroad, but now it's popular in India also to refer to this particular stream, science, technology, engineering and mathematics. So now there is nothing wrong with saying it enables millions of women to and girls to embrace technology in that particular year, but this is the goal of a program, right? And the goal is to close the gender gap and enable people, women especially, to embrace technology. It is likely to be by 2030 and not in 2030. Suddenly they will not embrace technology in the year 2030, right? If it is a program which aims to close the gender gap, then it's going to be gradual and progressive. By the year 2030, it will have achieved its goal. You have to be very sharp, not only about the grammatical correctness, but also the logic. That is also part of grammatical correctness, right? What preposition to use depends a lot on logic. Okay. So now where are the errors? We have an error in part A, we have an error in part B, and we have one in part C. That is A, B and C, option 4. Okay. Next question. Parents and children in Israel have reported a concerning rise in feelings of anxiety, depression, loneliness, melancholy and worry in recent years. Any problem here? I do not see any mistake. The word melancholy can be used as a noun as well as an adjective. You can say I am in a melancholy mood, but you can also say I am experiencing melancholy. Here it is used as a noun. Okay, parents and children in Israel have, so this is plural, the right verb has been used there, reported a concerning rise in feelings of all these things in recent years. So, no error. Option 5. Sometimes you do get no error questions also. Let's look at one more question. Okay. The good way to register and pay of travel within the company was to send a relative to their head office in Cairo based at the headquarters of their parent company. Have you spotted the errors? Let's see. The good way to register and pay, which means all the other ways are bad ways? That does not make sense. So what do we need here? We need the comparative degree or we need the superlative degree. Here, since we are talking of many different ways, the possibilities are there of many different ways, but among them the best way, that is what we mean. So we need the superlative degree. The best way to register and pay off travel. Do you pay off something? Pay OFF, that is different. Pay off loans or debts, that is OFF. But pay off travel? No. Pay for travel, right? For travel with the company was to send a relative to the head office in Cairo based at the headquarters of their parent company. Whose parent company? Send a relative to their head office in Cairo. So, travel with the company was to send a relative to the company's head office in Cairo based at the headquarters of their parent company. Okay. So, there is a problem with the use of all these pronouns here, right? The good way to register and pay for travel with the company was to send a relative to the company's head office in Cairo based at the headquarters of its parent company. That is better. So, in that sense, we have errors in all the 4 parts here. C is missing. We have errors in A, B, C and D. Okay, all the parts have errors because of the inappropriate use of the pronouns here and the degree of comparison here, which should be superlative, and the preposition there. Okay. So, that brings us to the end of this little video. Hope you have got some tips on how to handle this question type. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel on various social media platforms. Okay, all the links are given in the description box, and if you are interested in attending our classes, please do contact your nearest time center. As you know, we have an almost pan-India presence, and for online courses you can enroll at this link, using this link. Okay. Okay students, see you in another video. All the best. Thank you.